it's Sal here. A very warm welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're a returning subscriber of mine, then thank you so much for your continued love and support. So today I am really excited to be able to show you my absolute best blind buy fragrances which I have bought over the course of 2020. If you saw my most recent video before this one, you will have seen my list of the worst blind buys, but luckily I have many more fragrances to talk through in today's much more positive video. So first up today is Mancera Rose's Vanille. This one was love at first sniff for me. I'd heard a lot about this one on YouTube, particularly from the channel Pam's Smelly Goods. After I heard her review, I just really had to get it and smell it for myself. So I just ordered this up as a blind buy. So as I say, I received this and it was love at first sniff. This one is so likeable. It is so sweet and vanillic and rosy, obviously. It's mainly just what it says on the tin, basically. So it's mainly roses and vanilla. There are other things kind of going on in here, like aquatic notes, sugar notes, but it is mainly your rich kind of beautiful, gorgeous vanilla and your rose kind of notes as well. I think the only way that someone could really dislike this is if you are not a big fan of sweet fragrances. This one is very sweet. So if you have quite a big sweet tooth when it comes to fragrances and you enjoy rose and vanilla, then I do think you would love this. I do think it's a relatively safe blind buy as long as you are a huge fan of vanilla and like sweet perfumes. It's just pure indulgence, like it's so enjoyable. Like when you smell this, you feel as though you're having like a dessert. Like it's so beautiful. It's quite gourmand, I would say. It smells to me like some sort of cake with you know, sugared roses, rich kind of good quality vanilla. It's quite thick, dense, quite syrupy, but to me this isn't sickly. Like this is not sickly to me. I really enjoy this one. I think it's a beautiful fragrance and it was a very successful blind buy. Next up is a really popular one of mine. This is one of my like favourite fragrances. I talk about it a lot, and it was actually a complete blind buy. And that fragrance is La Nuit Tresor à la Folie by Lancôme. This fragrance is amazing. I basically, when I first heard about this one, I'd gone round, like I went into town, this was much earlier on in the year. I was going into town trying to find Lancôme counters which had this that I could like try the tester of, but none of them seem to have it. Like this seems to be quite a hard one to find actually. The only place that I could really find this is on the Lancôme website. It is now on some discount sites, but at the time I just found this one really hard to find. Like I couldn't find it actually like in any shop to try, so there was no way for me to try this. That kind of put me off for a while because like I was gonna order it direct from Lancôme website and like it's quite expensive obviously, so that did put me off for a wee while because I really wasn't sure if I was gonna like it because it does sound quite unusual. Like this is quite an unusual fragrance, and I was really kind of debating whether or not to just go for it, but I did end up just blind buying it because I couldn't find anywhere that had a tester for me to try. There was no way of me being able to test it, so I thought there's nothing else for it but to just order it. And you guys, I am so glad that I decided to just go and order it. It's beautiful. It's kind of a rich vanilla fragrance with berries. It's very unusual. It has like violet in here, it has rose, it has jasmine I think, so it has really rich florals in it, but to me it's mostly like a berry, like a red berry, lightly spiced, rich bourbon vanilla kind of fragrance. It's really beautiful. It's beautiful for the evenings, but to me it's quite versatile. I wear this like literally anytime. It's smoother and more rounded than the original La Nuit Tresor. So if the original La Nuit Tresor is too much for you, you might very well like this one, especially if you like vanilla, because I'm pretty sure everyone who likes vanilla would probably like this. The only thing is if you don't like red berries, that would maybe be the only thing that would put somebody off, but to me this is very likeable. This was such a pleasant surprise. It was so intriguing. Like when I first sprayed it, the first thing I felt was kind of relief at the fact that I knew I liked it instantly, but also I was just so intrigued, like when I properly started to be able to smell it, I was just so fascinated by this fragrance because it is unlike anything else I've ever tried. So it's really unusual, really likeable, smooth, sweet, berries, vanilla, floral, beautiful kind of fragrance, which was a very, very successful blind buy. Next up today is Narciso Rouge. This one was a complete blind buy as well. I already knew that I liked the Narciso fragrances, so I'd already tried the Narciso for her eau de toilette, so like the black bottle. I'd already tried Poudre, which I love, and I kind of knew that I more or less liked most of the Narciso fragrances, and when I looked at the notes of this one, I kind of knew, I was kind of like, you know, that's a pretty safe bet for me, I think. So this one has your rose, your iris, so it's quite powdery. It also has this Narciso musk in there, so it's like a very clean, fresh sort of musk. It has vanilla in here, which is quite different to the other Narciso fragrances as they don't really have vanilla, so this has a touch of vanilla in it. It's quite sweet, it's powdery and creamy. It's just beautiful, you guys. The musk in here is quite detectable, and I know that maybe not everyone is a fan of that particular kind of musk, so that might be off-putting for some, but certainly to me this one is beautiful. Yeah, it's like fresh, irisy, rosy, and feminine and musky all at the same time. It's really, really nice, this one. I adore it. Next up was Mugler Aurora Eau Sensuelle. So I blind bought this one like completely without ever having tried the original Aura, so I really did not know what I was gonna get myself into with this. But I had like read that this was like a more likeable version of Aura, and I had heard in reviews from like La La Da Beauty, she did a comparison between this one and the original Aura, and I was fairly confident that I would maybe like it, and it turned out to be a love. I adore this one. It's a very kind of light, fresh, green, bubblegummy, sweet kind of fragrance. So yeah, bubblegummy, green, candy floss, fresh, plant-like, fluffy. It's like a fluffy kind of texture, the smell. It's very soft, feminine. It's a soft actual scent, so it's not as in your face as the original Aura. It's kind of, it's more subdued, it's taken a step back. It's more of like a soft whisper of a fragrance rather than one that shouts. It's just so beautiful. To me, this is a beautiful level of sweetness as well. I love the fact that it is overall quite sweet, but they do have more interesting notes in here, like the green notes, which really helps to balance this out and make it much more interesting. So this is not boring. It's soft and it's quite subtle, but it's not boring. Like, it's really interesting, quite unique and unusual, but like I say, it's quite a reserved scent. It's quite soft, feminine, girly, beautiful, just stunning, you guys. I just love this one so much. I do think that this is a safer bet than the original Aura. The original Aura packs a punch, so it's very much a love or hate kind of fragrance, but this one is more, I can see more people liking it. Like, this one is just more likable in my opinion. So yeah, this was like a complete blind buy. I really, really like it. That is Mugler Aurora Eau Sensuelle. My next absolute winner of a blind buy is Ariana Grande Cloud. This is amazing. This was another one of my blind buys this year. I'd heard so much about this, you guys, like so much, and this was actually before I even gave celebrity perfumes a chance. So basically I found quite a few celebrity scents that I like now, but at the beginning of this year I basically didn't like any, or I thought that I didn't like any celebrity scents because I thought they were all like cheap, you know, bad quality, not nice, basically. That was my like preconception of them. But I did keep hearing everybody, like everywhere I looked, whether that was on YouTube or Instagram, everyone was talking about this, and I kind of thought, okay, there must be something in this, like it must be okay if everyone keeps talking about it. So I ordered it online. It was fairly inexpensive, it's quite an affordable fragrance, and you guys, it's really, really nice. So this was the first celebrity scent that I tried that changed my mind on celebrity scents, if you know what I mean. So this one sort of made me reconsider celebrity fragrances in general. So I really have an appreciation for this fragrance that I never thought I could have for any celebrity scents. This one is really beautiful. The smell of it is extremely unusual, which again surprised me because I kind of thought that celebrity scents would more or less all smell similar and just be boring and this and that. That was like my preconception of celebrity scents, which, to be fair, like a lot of them can be boring and smell cheap and everything like that, but this really does not. This is a beautiful creamy coconutty, like coconut cream kind of fragrance, but it has some initial kind of sparkliness from, I think it's bergamot in the top notes, lavender as well. Like there's really interesting notes in here, and I think the thing with this fragrance is they've actually paid attention to the notes, and they've actually created a really unique, interesting fragrance rather than just trying to create another boring, generic, likable scent, which they could have done, you know, but they've not. They've made a really interesting fragrance here, and I really like it. It kind of has that almost like airy, plasticky kind of smell about it, which I find really interesting, and I do quite like that. It has a slight similarity to the mood of Baccarat Rouge 540. However, to me they are really different. Like they're not dupes in my opinion, like they are very different. However, there are some similarities, like the airiness and that very distinctive airy texture that Baccarat Rouge has. This also has, hence the name Cloud, you know. So it does have that light, cloudy, airy texture, which is quite unique, quite distinctive. It lasts a very long time, despite being quite a soft scent, which is really nice. It's very calming. I like to wear this one to bed or just around the house. You know, like if you're having a pajama day and you're not really going out anywhere, you're just staying in. It's a really nice scent for like those kind of occasions, like casual occasions. And yeah, like I really like it. So this was a very successful blind buy. I was surprised in a good way. Like I was taken by surprise with this fragrance. It's not at all what I thought it would be. It's much better than what I thought it was going to be, and this fragrance actually was the first one which then encouraged me to try more celebrity fragrances. So I now have quite a few celebrity scents in my collection. I've not done a video yet showing them all, but I might at some point do like a full celebrity fragrance collection video just to go through which ones I now have with you guys. But yeah, I love this one. Very nice blind buy. So that is Cloud. Next up, funnily enough, is another celebrity scent, and this is one that I bought quite recently. So the Cloud one was like many months ago. This one was much more recently that I purchased it. So that is Sophia by Sofia Vergara, the original one. This is really nice, you guys. It does have similarities to Coco Mademoiselle. It is beautiful. It's kind of fresh and fruity. Fresh, fruity, floral, with kind of a light plum, like a sweet kind of plum note. Slightly citrusy, very kind of clean, professional vibe. Sweet, flirty as well, very versatile. And again, quite long lasting. So this fragrance is really nice. This was a blind buy based on like many reviews I saw all over YouTube. Lots of people were recommending this, and I do have to say that it is worth the hype, particularly for the price. You are not paying a lot for this fragrance, and in my opinion it's a very good one. This one is very versatile, it's really nice, good value for money of course, and the bottle is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So it's incredibly good value for money. And again, this one kind of surprised me in a nice way, although it was very hyped up, so I kind of was expecting quite good things from this anyway, because it was extremely hyped up in the community. But I would say it is actually very nice. So yeah, this is just a very nice, flirty, easygoing, clean and professional fragrance. So that is Sophia by Sofia Vergara. Next up is Kenzo Amour. This one was a complete blind buy as well, and again, like, I really wasn't quite sure which way this was going to go, because the notes sounded very interesting but also slightly strange, because this has like rice, vanilla, other kind of I really can't remember what else is in this, but I think there's some sort of like plants, flowers, things like that. So it's quite an unusual composition of notes, but this one, you guys, is just amazing. I've talked about it quite a lot on my channel. It's a beautiful, soft, sweet, vanillic and rice pudding kind of smell, which is long lasting, really addictive and comforting. So I love wearing this one any day really. I quite often wore this to work actually, but I also really enjoy wearing this one to bed, around the house, that kind of thing. It's quite good value for money, this one as well. This is like a 100ml bottle. I got it from one of those like discount sites, and yeah, this is probably going to last me like a really long time. It's really, really beautiful. So it's a sweet vanilla fragrance, but in a very clean, fresh linen kind of way. So it's like crisp and fresh, like a crisp sort of freshly cleaned linen, but it's soft and warm and cozy at the same time. So again, quite unusual, very intriguing, easily likable in my opinion. Can't go far wrong with this one, and again, extremely, extremely versatile. I do feel like you could wear this pretty much anywhere. So that's the beautiful Kenzo Amour. Next up today is another Kenzo fragrance, and that is Kenzo Flower Elixir. I will just briefly talk about this one because I have been talking about it a lot on my channel recently, but it is just because I adore it. It's like, you guys, this is an absolutely fantastic fragrance. It is a dark, kind of rich, mature, sophisticated, elegant and seductive evening fragrance. So it's very, very powdery, it's sweet but in a very expensive, alluring kind of way. It does not smell juvenile, it smells beautiful. This is like my favourite kind of sweetness, if you know what I mean. Like, it's extremely sweet and powdery, but it just smells good quality. It smells dark. It brings to mind like almost like treacle, if you can imagine that, like a dark, a tiny little bit of smokiness and like thick, luscious treacle, like that kind of sweetness, just opulent basically. It's kind of opulent, beautiful. I think this would be a fantastic nighttime fragrance, but it is so addictive that I wear it like literally anytime because I just love it that much. So this is probably one of my most favoured blind buys this year. This is probably one of my favourite ones, just because it really, and actually this one took me by surprise the most, because from reading the notes I did not expect it to smell the way that it does. So in the notes it says like raspberry, praline, and I really can't remember like the other notes, but those were the two that stuck in my mind, like the raspberry and the praline. And from that I kind of thought, oh no, is it going to smell like a cheap like raspberry and sweet like vanilla praline kind of fragrance? Like, I kind of worried because those notes can be quite intense, if you know what I mean. But literally they just work so well, you guys. Like, this is just a smooth, silky, thick, luscious, cloudy, powdery, beautiful fragrance, and I absolutely adore it, you guys. This was in my top 10 for life. I never want to be without this one. It is just fantastic. So that is Kenzo Flower Elixir. Another fantastic blind buy from 2020 has been Jessica Simpson Fancy. This fragrance is wonderful, you guys. The main thing which caught my attention about this one actually is the packaging. The bottle reminds me of a fairy tale. It's beautiful. It has patterns all the way around it, and like if you look through the bottle you can kind of see, you know, the ones on the other side as well. Like, it's just really enchanting to look at, I think. And the detail around here, and the lid just comes off like so, and that is what it's like. So this one is stunning, you guys. The atomizer's not the best, but oh well. So this is just a bright, sweet, happy, sunshiny kind of fragrance, you guys. It's just so beautiful. It just reminds me of like carefree, in the sun, happiness, not a care in the world, youthful, kind of bubbly, light-hearted. It's just so nice, slightly fresh, slightly effervescent. I think they've got maybe some bright, kind of slightly sparkly top notes in here. This one has caramel, but it's not like a thick, heavy caramel. It doesn't weigh down the fragrance whatsoever. It's kind of like a light, a thin veil of it basically. It's like a translucent kind of hint of caramel more than anything else, and it's just beautiful, you guys. This one lasts a really nice time. It projects nicely. It's a sort of soft, fragrance. It's not super loud, but it's not super quiet either. It's just like a nice kind of medium strength type of smell. I just love it. It's really affordable as well. Like, you can buy this really cheap. And for what it is, I think it's really good value for money because the actual bottle is stunning. I love all the details on it. It's so beautiful to look at. Like, I love having this on display. And it's just fun because you can just totally go crazy with the spraying because it's like cheap, you know, so you can just spray like loads of this and not worry about running out because you can get a massive 100ml bottle for very, very cheap. And I just love it. It's just a very happy fragrance. This just makes me feel happy when I wear it. So that is Jessica Simpson Fancy. And last up today is Trussardi My Name. So this is a really recent purchase of mine. It's very, very beautiful. I first heard about this one from Polvere di Viole. She has a wonderful channel and she mentioned this one in her calming sort of video. So this has a very calming effect. Basically, this is a powdery, soft, creamy, like irisy, violet kind of vanilla fragrance, and it's beautiful. So this one, I love it. The only thing with this, you might not be a fan if you prefer stronger fragrances. This one is very, very soft. So soft, in fact, that sometimes it almost has like a barely there kind of effect, but I think that is just the nature of the fragrance itself. It's just a very, very soft, subtle fragrance. I can smell it like okay, but actually I sprayed some and I asked my mum what she thought and she literally couldn't smell it at all. Like, she literally couldn't smell anything. But I can smell it. It's just, it might not be everyone's cup of tea. Like, if you prefer stronger fragrances that you can smell and they're gonna like project all day, this is not that. This is like a soft projecting, a thin veil of a scent. It's like barely there. It's just a kind of a subtle suggestion of a scent, but it's not got a huge presence about it. It's very, very subtle. But I adore this one. I made it my scent of the day today because it's just so soft and soothing. Like, it's just so calming. And the thing is, I do tend to spray quite a lot of it. The atomizer is lovely. Really nice atomizer. I have gone through like a fair amount of this fragrance already. There's like a wee dent in this. But it's a very simple, beautiful kind of fragrance. So soft, powdery, iris and violet with kind of amber and vanilla as well to give it like a creamy sweetness. And it's like got a kind of powdery, baby powder kind of mood about it. Very, very soft, silky, powdery, quiet and very subtle. Just very beautiful. I love this one. Let me know what your favourite blind buys of 2020 have been. I've certainly discovered many, many stunning fragrances through blind buying. There were some fails as well, which I mentioned in my previous video, but the good ones definitely outweighed the bad. Like, I definitely have discovered far more fantastic fragrances. There were a few fails, but like, that's kind of to be expected when blind buying, I think. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.